Shinji, here's another project for you. To make some steps. These are kind of wobbly. Oh, Shinji. Did you hear? Yeah, if you could make some steps that are a little more stable. We're just improvising for now. Oh, maybe we'll wait till they finish this experiment and decide, okay, we'll keep it at the podium down here. Okay, for those of you who haven't been here for a while, this is an experiment. Yeah, we removed that tall base, now stand that this was on before, just to see if people have a different perspective, different feel, and if this is more comfortable, we'll keep it like this. Okay, so you have 2 months to register your monku if you have any. Otherwise, it stays as it is. Okay. So anyway, welcome to our observance of the customary fall Ohigan, Other Shore celebration. And we're very pleased, or I'm very pleased to be able to introduce the person I consider that caused me to be here. Okay? So 60 or so years ago, I heard that there was this Sansei, one of the big guys in our community here in Japantown, that decided that he was going to go to Japan to study to become a Buddhist priest. It was Reverend Masuda. He was one of the big guys in the community. He was JCL, there's all these kind of roles and authority or things, influential positions that he had. And so we kind of looked up to him as one of the big, I keep using the word big guys. But anyway, now I call him old guy. But anyway, so he went to Japan. After graduating San Francisco State, he went to Japan and entered Ryukoku University, got degrees there, and he got his ordination, Tokudo Kyoshi, and then he came back. And then he began assignments with the BCA, first at Fresno, and then Los Angeles. I mean, there's so many I can't even remember. But he continued to serve until he retired from the Palo Alto Buddhist temple. What was that, about 6 years ago? How long? Well, now he can't hear, but how long ago was that? 2012 that you retired from Palo Alto and the BCA. But in the meantime, he was the one that got me to go to Hawaii. I don't know if you remember that. So Reverend Will happened to serve in the Hawaii Kyodan district for a few years, and he asked me we were corresponding, and one letter he just said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming to Hawaii for a little while?" And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I said, yeah, okay. And then he made the arrangements for me to transfer from BCA over to Hawaii. And I was planning to say 4 years, but I stayed 24 years. But then, as soon as I got to Hawaii, he left. And he came back to BCA, and he was serving as the director of education and what have you. And then he went into temples, and again, he retired from the Palo Alto Buddhist temple. But I guess he still had enough energy, so he decided that he'd accept an invitation to go back to Hawaii. So he ended up going back to Hawaii for how long? 2 years, okay. At the last temple I served before I returned to BCA. So we kind of crossed over the Pacific in opposite directions. But anyway, so that's the history. And he grew up here at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco, and people that from that generation remember him as Willie, right? Isn't that, Shinji, what you call him, Willie? He gives us the willies? No. But when he comes around, because when we were little kids, I mean, he was husky, he was a football player and all of that stuff, which was not common for Nikkei or Sansei to be playing at that level, And so that's how things change, but what doesn't change is the Dharma. And that's why we're here today, to be able to appreciate 80 years. I just looked up his history and I found out he's 80 years old already. Maybe that's why I'm 71. But anyway, so with that, I'm very pleased to introduce Reverend Dr. Will Masuda. 今日は最後に一言、そのMasuda先生の日本語の話も聞かせていきたいと思います。それでは今日のご講師はMasuda Kenshin sensei desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. I better stand here and guide him down. Okay. Yeah, it's it's pretty secure, but I don't know. You could hold that side in.
This is called coming down from the clouds. Before I begin, will you please join me in Gassho? I'd like to share Shinran Shonin's, one of Shinran Shonin's poems in the English translation. And this is from the hymns of the Dharma age. Amida Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, and Mahasamaprapta. These are bodhisattvas of compassion, Avalokiteshvara, and Mahasamaprapta, the bodhisattva of wisdom, ride on the ship of the great vow of Amida Buddha. Going out on the ocean of birth and death, they call to beings and bring them on board. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Kobata, for that long introduction. And I hope that doesn't take away from my time. I have a tendency of going on and on. My timekeeper is somewhere in the audience right there. My wife of 57 years.
Congratulations.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm even saved in this world by a woman. Anyhow, and she's tired of my rambling, so she will be the timekeeper. And hopefully I won't react too strongly. Then we'll end up having a long conversation on the way home. And I want to dispense with that. But you gave away my age, Ron. But I don't mind that, you know. I responded to Reverend Kobata and said that getting ready for today's service, I was getting kind of emotional. It was like, I'm getting emotional now. It's like going home to my home temple, right here. I used to sit, when I was in Sunday school, 1, 2, 3, 4, around there somewhere. And the most scary time was the late Reverend Art Takemoto, who was a Dharma school teacher then, would always translate. Our minister then was Sanada Sensei. And he spoke in Japanese, and Art would translate. And I think I had, I was telling this to my wife, I think I had ADD. It wasn't categorized then, but I was really restless. And I would either jump up or kind of fool around. And one of the guys that we used to sit close to was Mr. Yao here, Shinji. And I see from here, he's as old as I look, you know. So we grew up in this temple, and we did a lot of wonderful things, but also a lot of bad things. But that's the fabric of our life, isn't it? It's light, it's dark, sometimes it's gray, but all these things happen freely, I guess, or with some thought when you're always at home. And today I feel like I'm at home, and I thank you for your time to allow me to speak. Where shall I begin?
Oh, I thought you started.
I wish I had never asked Ron to study Buddhism. Well, when you study Buddhism or you become a Buddhist in the real living sense, you can't help but talk back, you know? Because everything in your mind, you can't just leave it there. You have to bring it out so that once you bring it out, you can see how dumb you really are. This is a horrible way of saying it, but if you are really on the path to Amida Buddha, you will come to realize sometime in your life there is nothing more spiritual than in your life than the Buddha. And I used to listen to Jataka tales here, all the stories, and I was fascinated because when I first started here, right after World War II, and we lived right off of Fillmore Street in a little alleyway called Wilmot between Pine and Bush. You know, we fooled around a lot, played basketball here. Our days, the B in Buddhist wasn't Buddhist. It meant basketball. And it kept us off the streets. And we knew how to jump some of these windows downstairs to get in after school. And we couldn't put the light on because Mr. Murata had control of the lights. But we played in the dim light lit gym, and some of us would come over here before we went home, play basketball. And then I think that was after we came to Japanese school here. I went to Pacific Heights about 3 o'clock. School was out. 2:30, we had to walk over here. And the Japanese school was around where Reverend Ron is living on that floor, somewhere around there. And so the temple wasn't only our place to come to on the weekend, but we also came after school, fool around, play basketball. And right down here, there used to be a little delicatessen. We used to buy these big old dill pickle, and that was our snack. And so that gave us a lot of vinegar for basketball. Yeah, and it was fun times. You know, we didn't know any better. This was a hood, so to speak, our neighborhood. And what else do I want to remember? It just comes to me. And when I'm ready to be real profound with you in my talk today, I'll remember something dumb. That was supposed to be funny, but you don't have to laugh. As Reverend Ron said, another thing I just remembered. He is my youngest brother's age, around that group of young people then. I was in high school. I think in my senior year, I had the privilege of coaching softball. He was on the team. I won't tell you how good he was or how bad he was, all right? But there was a group of young boys who played, and I had played baseball and football in high school. So, and then the fact is, I was about 18, but I looked like I was about 25. So they used to always call me, some people call me Old Willie, you know, Old Willie. So I was asked to be the coach. I coached them. And I can't remember if Ron could hit well, but it was fun, you know. And I remember his dad. He was always there with Ron. And I can't remember if it was him or one of the other fathers. A lady came up to me and said, "Are you one of the fathers? You know, you're the coach, but are you one of the fathers?" And I was really hurt, insulted. Because who wants to be called a father of these kids at the age of 17 or 18, you know? But as I grew older, my age never changed on my face. So now that I'm 80, I look 50. I don't know what I'm talking about now. I'm really getting off track, you know. But there were good times. There were wonderful times here, especially now in my mind, you know, and in my heart too. And also, I got in trouble a lot. I hate to say this, but I was one of the earlier Boy Scouts that got kicked out of Troop 29. Because on a Friday night we had a scout meeting and we had basketball scout meeting, but I loved basketball so much here. We played it so much that I was playing, and Mrs. Murakami, the scary one, she told me to get upstairs to the meeting, and I said, no, I don't want to, I'm going to keep shooting. She said, get up there, and then I said something nasty, and then next thing I knew, I was out. And when I got home, I got scolded by my mom and said I was stupid, and I said, but I love basketball. You know, that was one of the saddest experiences I had here. And I think out of that, I had a kind of reputation as a bad boy. But it's all relative. Here I am, a bad grandfather now, bad old man, but thanks to all the people, I was thinking about growing up in this temple and all the people that used to attend, and this temple used to be filled a lot. And suddenly in my mind, as I was thinking about the Sunday services here, I started to see not all these individuals that I remembered or whose name I've forgotten, but all these people here in front of the Buddha, listening to Sanada Sensei when they had Japanese service, listening to Reverend Art translate for him, and all of us seemingly focused on Amida Buddha here, listening to the word of truth that will transform and change their lives. And suddenly, the people I saw here sitting in my mind reminded me of in the Amida Sutra, in all the 10 directions, there are countless bodhisattvas, beings of Dharma-giving beings who are occupying the world of the Pure Land. That in the Pure Land, there is not just a scenery only of mountains and trees and rivers and oceans, but there are countless beings there, all in the world emanating golden light from the Pure Land. And right at the head in the center is Amida Buddha, like this. Is the statue here or is it Myogo?
No,
Statue, yeah. And that, again, in my mind, made me feel like I was coming home. So, young people, how many of you are 10 and older? Okay. No, up to 18. How many of you are 10 years old and younger? Okay. Okay, so whether you're a teenager or you're younger, one thing I'd like you to remember, as this and all the people that are sitting around you are followers or listeners of Amida Buddha's words of truth that he would like each of you to know that what is most important to realize during your lifetime is to become truly understanding, truly loving, truly yourself as you really are, and are able to live with the truth of who you really are. That's all Buddhism is to me. If you don't come to church even as you grow older, but you remember that to live truthfully in heart and mind and in spirit, then you are a Buddhist in the most real way. Because you become real when you meet the Buddha in your life, regardless of at what age or what stage in your life. And now, here I am, 80 years old. It's like life swiftly passed. And I'm 80 years old. But when I look back, all the people in the temple, my home temple, in their many, many ways, whether they spoke to me or just looked at me or touched me, stroked me on the back, like be a good boy or whatever that I didn't like, all those people, all those beings allowed me to walk clearer, quietly, sometimes in the path of the Buddha. I tell you, the truth is that none of us are going to get out of this life alive. You're all done the moment you're here. So you got to figure out what's going to be real for you. All right? Young people, I don't care if you have a PhD, I don't care if you're a doctor, I don't care if you're a minister. If you're not real, you're done. Does that make sense? Young people or old people, does that make sense? Yes. All right, that's the end. Oh, I think that's all it is. If you're real, then you could say, I'm sorry. How many of you have a hard time saying I'm sorry when you do bad things, but you hide it? How many of you do bad things? Tell me the truth. Yeah. And then when you get caught, how many of you say, I didn't do it? Or you want to say it? How many of you are like that? You all look like bodhisattvas, but you're not yet. So just tell me the truth. How many of you love the Buddha? And how many of you trust that the Buddha loves you? God, only this row raised their hands. It's as simple as that. If you know it in your heart here, this is where it counts. Not only here, but here. Up here, what counts is you get a good job. You're able to support yourself. You're able to take care of your family. Those are the values that every generation wants to fulfill. But since timeless time, for human beings, the question that needs to be answered and the goal that needs to be fulfilled for all beings is that each of us, male or female, tall or short, whatever, beings that we are, need to know and live truthfully. And the truth is that what is real in life, that everything is going to change. Even in our present, I can't venture here too much. on this topic because I watch a lot of MSNBC. For you adults, you know what I'm implying. Do you? Politics has become a concern for me since I retired. Because for all the talk of values, of a good society, it seems that there's something missing that we can't seem to coalesce, that it's easier to hate than to love and forgive. That something is fundamentally missing in a life if we live only at that stratum and think that life is nothing but competition, outdoing somebody, and if I don't like them, I may swing so far that I end up hating people, others, and continue to feel the agitation that comes with an unsettled life. But there is a way that, in spite of the limitations of our human conditions, that we can at least have an opening to what is real and true and go there as much as we can, so that in spite of the changes and the craziness that we feel at times in our everyday life, that there will be a white path of truth, of love, of compassion available to each of us. At the heart of these gatherings, every week, every Sunday, special services, meetings here, is this unspoken search that all of us are in. The more we can help each other to appreciate that we are all in this together, not just all in together, but we are truly frail, limited human beings who become stronger when we are sharing compassion, wisdom, understanding, and we tend to grow, not because we have done it ourselves, I did it myself, but because of all the interconnected forces that allow me to live as truthfully, as real as I possibly can. And in that way, come to appreciate this life given to each of us by our mothers and fathers. I think that's the way we fulfill our parents' fundamental desire for our happiness, by not only getting the best grades or having the best friends or going to the best schools, but no matter how the choices are for our livelihood, that we become genuine, truth-seeking human beings who have an infinite amount of faith and hope for the awakening and awareness, the enlightenment of humankind. I think we need a big, big truth that's unreachable in order for us to be able to have a direction in our everyday life that's sometimes confusing. Short-term goals we can have, but what is your long-term goal? Because no matter how successful you are, you got to leave it all behind. That's why oftentimes, I think if we have a family, our children are so precious and valuable to us, like treasures that we want to have them sparkle in their coming generation, in their coming development. And fathers or parents and grandparents and older people like us are allowed to receive the energy that is there and also confidence that the world that goes forward will continue to evolve with light and life, with truth, honesty, forgiveness, and gratitude. Well, I'm getting real sentimental, so I want to leave it. How come you're so quiet all of a sudden? I could hear all this noise bouncing back to me, and I could hear the clock ticking, like my time is almost up. But one of the things that I've learned over the course of my life growing up here, and I think when I was younger and a child, we used to hear a lot of scary stories, you know. And I remember when I was about 10 or 11, one night while I was sleeping, I had a fright. And I had done something what I considered to be bad. And I never addressed it. But my dream addressed it for me and said, you're a liar, you hurt the other person, etc. And in my dream I would say, no, I didn't. That was all in play. But all in play became too real. And I woke up in a startle, and I heard myself say, if I say the Nembutsu, I will be better. So I started saying Namman Dubs. And when I woke up, and I was still the bad boy that I was. Does that make sense? I had to own up to everything I did that made me feel bad. Praying didn't help. Half asleep praying. So to be real means to start waking up. What is it you really want to do with your life? Do you want to be a real human being capable of loving? Do you want to be a real human being that when your friend is hurting, that you have the heart that opens up, that you could stand with that person? To be real is a great challenge, even more than becoming a Buddha in this life. And if we listen to the Buddhist teachings and realize that everything is changing and that the source of our problem is ourselves, then we won't be spending a lot of unnecessary energy looking at somebody else's behavior, but always be mindful of what I do, what you do, in terms of living our everyday life. No one is at fault for who you are, not even your mothers and fathers. If you could understand that truth, then your life will begin to change in a natural way. And you will, not because of your ego, but because of a source, a strength, a power greater than yourself, you will be able to incorporate truths of wisdom, of compassion, of light and life, of Amida Buddha in your life in a natural way, and let Amida open the way to meaning and completeness and gratitude in your life. It's easy to say, you know, if I get a good TV, I'm thankful. I'm grateful I got a nice TV. Or when I was a minister, I used to sometimes in my own mind, I didn't say this as a sermon, but when I started in Fresno as the third minister at the Betsuin there, and the only English-speaking minister, I received the third used car for the third minister. And it was, so I started in 1968. It was a 1963 Chevy Bel Air, 4-door. I think the shock absorbers were gone. Because, you know, I drive my family and it bounces like this. That means your shocks are gone, huh? And every time we drove up to the Bay Area to see my folks, see our families, it was like what is it? The grapes of wrath coming out in the 30s out of the dust bowls of Oklahoma. You know, the hardship and all this. I did wish for a better car. And then the second tour, when I went to Fresno as a Rimban then, I made sure I got a good car. But then what was interesting is the Buick, and what I wanted so badly, a good car, ended up giving me the worst backache. Because something about that Buick, I just couldn't fit into something that I wanted too much, you know? So be careful of what you want, what your greed tells you you should have. That's a side note, okay? So what I really thought I'd do today, how much more time do I have? Keo said like 3 minutes. But let me share. There's over the last 40 years of my ministry, you know, I've been able to receive a lot of insights, not my insights, but insights from many of you, many of those who were listening carefully to hear Amida's voice to come forward, to be truthful, to be honest, to be kind, to be loving. And out of the many people participating, their reflections were shared with me. And I had this collection of writings, some in Japanese, some in English, that I received and I've collected. When I was in Hawaii especially, and running a lot of the educational programs at the Buddhist Study Center in Honolulu, we used to have summer sessions that ran 1 month, and people from the various islands and also from the mainland. Did you ever come to one of those? Yeah. So no distinction between ministers and lay people, but we all gathered together to listen to teachers like the late Titus Uno, Dr. Uno, who was my mentor since from the time I was 18 when he would come to the Bay Area to speak, and I would always get scolded by him because of my arrogance. And then I realized that after he passed, my arrogance hadn't gone. But good teachers that you encounter always leave with you something that's residual, that rises in you, that's real about yourself. And I think true Dharma gatherings allows each of us to become who we are, and we are able to manifest the truth and honesty that we fundamentally are. And the one thing about my ministry, as long as I may have talked too much or not enough or missed the point, I have been fortunate to be surrounded by many Dharma seekers who shared their lives with me and with all of us who participated in these sessions. And these are some sayings, some reflections. And I'm sure you all, too, when you are settled in your life and you are thinking about your life in a serious way, in a real way, that you have the same thoughts that may resonate with these thoughts that I'd like to share with you. Let me give you a few examples. This is from a lady who was caregiving her mother. Are any of you caregiving someone in your family that's aging and all? Okay. Listen to what she says and shared with us. And I feel that in the light of the Buddha, she was able to say this. With righteous fervor, I tended to her needs day and night as she lay hostage to the crippling disease. Then she asked for a measure more, and I balked. She made me see me for what I am. Namo Amida Butsu. This is the kind of what the Japanese often say is the ajiwai of faith, the taste, the flavor of how we live with the paradoxes and the contradictions of real life. You see your foolishness because of the light of love, compassion that inherently carries the truth of forgiveness. Now, this is another one. Mouth as slippery as an octopus, eight-sided, lopsided, one-sided, camouflaged in darkness, although my deceitful mouth has not spoken self-righteous thoughts, crowd my mind, my biased eyes speak loudly. You know, sometimes you have all these criticisms you have of your teachers, your politicians, your mother, your father. How many of you complain a lot? How many of you complain a lot inside of your mouth? Yeah. And how many of you complain even more in your head about your minister? Oh, I got that a lot, so I'm sure Reverend Kobata is not perfect. That's why he walks the Nimbutsu path together with me. Be honest, be real. Okay, one more. In an ironic way, in a paradoxical way, the more you try to be real, the more you try to be truthful, the more you think you're missing the target. Actually, you haven't. Here's one person who, this gentleman participated. He says, searching so earnestly for enlightenment, while stopping to rest, I find the light finds me. Namo Amida Butsu. If you're real and you're seeking something that's eternal or whatever you want to call it, truly spiritual, and you search and you search and you search, then suddenly what you're searching for comes to you and opens your heart and mind with real light and life. Isn't this wonderful, this paradox? Okay, my wife really is getting 恐ろしい. Okay, and one more I'd like to share with you. This is by a lady who took care of her husband before he passed. His debilitating illness and eventual death awakened in me the great boundless compassion and wisdom of Amida Buddha. Oh, how grateful I am for the peace and joy I discovered in this here and now. Namo Amida Butsu. I don't know how you appropriate this or receive these examples of Nembutsu life, the life of Ajiwai. I noticed that there's a lot of Japanese words coming into the American lexicon. Are you familiar? Umami. You know what umami is? What's umami? Well, next time you eat sashimi, let me know. Umami. And then, another Japanese word, ikigai. There's a book out called Ikigai. Okay, umami is the taste that you can't express intellectually, but you could say when you taste something that's perfect for you, you go, what do you say? Yeah? Do you? Oishii yo. Oishii. Okay. I will quit here. But I would like to say a few things, a few words in Japanese. 本日は小畑先生の招待をいただきまして本当にありがたく感謝しています。このお寺に来るたんびふるさとへ帰る感じを強く心の中で感じさせていただいているのです。やはり月日が経つのは仏さんが申した通りに早く流れていきます。このお寺で育てられてその時はまだ実際でもなかったし、やはり戦争後に親と一緒にサンフランシスコへ出てきて母と父は一生懸命働いて我々子供たちをある意味でお寺に預けて我々はここで毎日遊んだり喧嘩したり、でもこのお寺はふるさとであるということは強く感じさせていただいている次第なのです。年を取るほど懐かしくなって胸がいっぱいになる時もあるし、やはりこのお寺のおかげで仏さんの仏法の道を歩むようになりまして、いろいろなお寺の人のおかげで僧侶にもならさせていただきました。そしてこの40年間の布教の中でやはりいろいろな信者に念仏者に出会い、そのおかげで念仏は宗教、信仰、信心はただ言葉だけでない、知恵のことだけではないし、やはり味わいの世界がだんだん心の底から開いてくることを 知らせていただき、その味わいの世界の中で一人一人のお念仏のありがたさを感じさせていただくようにならさせていただいている次第なのです。そのことで今日はこの世からあの世に如来の船に乗らさせていただいて、18眼の船に乗らさせていただき、その船の中でよくよく振り返ってみますと、いろいろな人のおかげで念仏の深い味わいを感じさせていただいている次第なのです。特にもう30年前の話ですけれど、ハワイで布教している時に一世の方でソギナミさんというハワイの人で、沖縄出身の人で念仏者であり、このソギさんが亡くなってその長男からちっちゃいこの詩のブックレットをいただきまして、その中でソギさんの歌を読まさせていただきました。そして後にその家族の人たちにお母さんのこの味わいといいますか、念仏の味わいを英語に訳しまして渡すようになりました。その詩の中で一つ一つ読まさせていただいたときに、胸に訴えられて、今日反省しながら、今日の彼岸法要に皆さんにもできたら味わっていただきたいと思って、ソギさんの詩を2つか3つよかったら読まさせていただきます。いいですか？この詩は僕大好きなのですね。ソギさんが曰く、ほんまに、これですよ、ほんまにっていう心ですよ。ほんまに実りを聞いてみりゃ、仏の教えに無理はないって。ね。ほんまに実りを聞いてみりゃ、仏の教えに無理はない。よく英語の中で、英語のお説教の前に、聞く方は、あの先生が何言ってるかわからんって、何も聞こうとしても難しいって。ね、でも、自分の真実の姿から聴聞すれば、仏の教えは無理でないっていうことはね、私としては、特に浄土真宗は恋を待ってるから、恋を待ってるから、この白道を踏んで如来のそばに来いよっていう呼び声が聞こえてきますね。その無理のない声がやはりこの詩にはっきり現れていると、私は感じさせられるのです。もう一つ、もうあと二つね、そこで終わります。これも面白い。鬼が仏に 変わるのも生きた6時のお働き。鬼が仏に変わるのも生きた6時のお働き。英語でちょっと訳してみますと、Even the transformation of a devil-like person like me to a Buddha is a function of a living Namu Amida Butsu in our heart. You know? When the Namu Amida Butsu is alive for you, even the foolishness that I carry all the time becomes embraced and transformed to light and life by Namu Amida Butsu. And finally, oh, there's too much here. Maybe I should stop here, huh? Okay. これで終わり. Thank you. So I want to thank all of you for allowing me and Reverend Kobata for inviting me to share this Ohigan service with all of you this morning. And hopefully that each of you will all become real, so that in becoming real, you will encounter or meet Amida Buddha directly in your life. You won't have to wait till you die. You're going to die anyway. You know why? You don't have to wait around. But the closer you become to being the real you, and then finally becoming the real you, there you see Amida Buddha in all his glory, so to speak, with compassion and wisdom, and that will be the meat of your life. Not some falsehood, not some fake news, so to speak, but something real. You're real. I'm real. The Buddha makes us real. So thank you very much. I'd like to close my talk with what? Another reading, or just a reading again. The reading I started off with. Shinran Shonin's hymns of the Dharma ages. Amida Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, and Mahasama Prapta, the Bodhisattva of wisdom, ride on the ship of Amida's great vow. Going out to the ocean of birth and death, they call to beings, all beings, to bring them on board. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 All right, thank you. Sorry, Junior YB, we're taking up too much of your time. I apologize to you, David.
Next, we will have our coffee.